What's up, everybody? It's your boy Meme here. Today is December 5th, so I'm gonna open up the 5th chocolate in my Advent calendar. Here's number 5 right here. Oh. Looks like it's an owl or like a little guy wearing a scarf. I don't know exactly what this is supposed to be. But, I got a bag to put these chocolates in because they were just sitting on my desk, and that's not good for ants. Like, ants didn't come into my room, but if they found them, you know, they would be. Nothing's really going on today. I woke up this morning at 5:30 because very nicely my mom came into my room. I have a smart light, right, which I can, which is connected to our home app, and so with the shortcuts application on my phone, I'm able to make it so then when one of my alarms, like when my alarm goes off in the morning, it also turns on my light, which has a higher likelihood of waking me up than if the lights are still dark. And so that has this like second order effect of my light being on when I wanted to wake up. And so very occasionally, because I told my parents they shouldn't do this, they don't have to do this, but very occasionally they come into my room when my light's on, but I'm not like obviously awake. And they're kind of like, Leo, didn't you mean to wake up? Your light is on. And I'm like, yes, thank you. Because frankly, most of the time I do wake up on time. A lot of the time when I don't wake up on time, my parents don't come into my room because I ask them not to, you know, because it's like, if I don't wake up when my alarm goes off, it's my bad. Like, I don't want you guys to have to be responsible for my wake up time, you know? But, you know, my mom woke me up this morning. It was very nice of her. So I was able to get up on time. But yeah, I walked on the treadmill for an hour. I took a shower. I live streamed for like half an hour studying, which isn't that much. Oh, and that's my dad coming home from running errands. But yeah, I studied for a little bit this morning. And then I went to go get a haircut with my dad, which is why my hair looks different. And I also, we also got McDonald's. I got a daily double, and that was pretty good. And it was only like $7 for like a daily double and a small fry and 4 chicken nuggets and a drink. It's a good deal. And especially you use the app, you get the points. McDonald's is awesome. But yeah, so that went pretty well. And then we got home, my dad went to run errands, and now I'm recording this video. Things are going pretty well today, though I am thinking of a video. One moment. It is this video, and it talks about how like if you get a VPS with AWS, it's way slower and more expensive when you can go for a VPS from a company like Hetzner, and it's way better, right? The thing is that in my second to last semester of college, I took an AWS class, which was actually very useful because I think knowing AWS is like a very good skill. But something I didn't realize at the time was that the class was like 70% just information about AWS. One moment. It was like 70% information about AWS and like using the management console and the CLI, and then 30% information about like just Amazon propaganda. And what I mean by that is it's almost like you hear about people who are like in these unusual American religions, like you know, Mormonism or like Jehovah's Witnesses or something, right? And we hear about how they're sort of taught arguments back to people who, you know, just like they give counter arguments to like common arguments against their church, you know. It's just the thing people do. Like apologetics and that sort of thing is like very common, I believe, just from what I've looked into. And I didn't realize, but when I was taking that AWS class, it was like very similar to what's described, where it's like, hey, this is what you're going to hear against AWS and like about all of these things. You know, these are the arguments against that. And of course it wasn't framed as explicitly, but like for real, in a lot of this curriculum, it's like explaining why AWS is the best solution to this problem and how, you know, all other companies just can't achieve their prices at scale, you know, and how like it's so useful in a work environment and a corporate environment. And frankly, that's probably partly true, right? I don't think they would be saying it if it wasn't wholly false, if they couldn't, you know, argue it in some sort of significant way. It's getting a little bright. I'm gonna... There we go. But, you know, it was sort of like, it was like a weird like AWS propaganda type thing. And so because of that, I had actually moved my, like I have a VPS that just hosts a bunch of web servers for different things and like a couple other containers. And it used to be with Vultr, right? Back when I just had my website. I originally just had it for my website. And that was something like $5 or $6 a month. And I moved it to AWS EC2 and it was like $4.50 a month. So it was cheaper, right? But the thing is that I didn't realize is I could do $5 a month and it's literally 10 times faster with something like Hetzner as opposed to like $4.50 a month. So Hetzner seems really great. What I meant about AWS being pretty good in a corporate environment, and again, I'm not too informed on this. I'm not really in the industry yet. And really, I'm just sort of, you know, I have a pretty surface level understanding of this. For the record, like, you know, I've spun up an EC2 instance. I know how to use IAM, but like, I'm really not that good at AWS or like cloud stuff. But, you know, it's just my opinion that, you know, I've heard that in a corporate environment, AWS is nice because you're able to like make deals with Amazon itself regarding like compute costs, like you can have contracts and stuff. And also, there's a lot of services that AWS provides and they all sort of plug into each other really well. So say you have something running on ECS, you can use however many countless cloud services that plug into ECS, but also all of these other things that do with these like lambdas and like all of these crazy things. And that does seem very sort of attractive, right? The idea of everything just working, it just works. It's a little ironic considering the recent AWS outages, but that's the idea behind AWS. You know, they talk about, you know, 7 nines of uptime, right? Like it's, the whole idea behind it is that it's supposed to always work. And that's so attractive that people are willing to spend like way more money for something that they could get for much less money elsewhere. And that's reasonable, but I feel like from a hobbyist perspective, like a lot of the people who are watching these YouTube videos about AWS and Hetzner, like a lot of these people are just like hosting a VPS to like host their website or their Hugo blog or their mail server, right? And or their web app, right? And I don't think it's crazy to like be like, hey, just so you know, like AWS, you know, they might have the largest scale, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have the lowest prices. And everybody's like, what? Like, I feel like I wasn't the only one who didn't know about this. You know, I feel like a lot of people have sort of assumed that because of the scale of AWS that their prices have to be the cheapest because you have a vague understanding of how microeconomics works. I don't know which one that is. That would be microeconomics, right? Like sort of local economic actions like that. I'm not entirely sure, but you know, I don't know. It was just an interesting thing I learned. Like, wow, like, I don't know, I just assumed that AWS was the cheapest, and I really like AWS. In fact, I have a little, no, never mind. I also have this Lindor chocolate right here that I'm gonna open. It's Christmas flavored. You know, if you're a real head, you'll get that joke. If you're not like a real head, like, I guess you won't get it. So yeah, bye. I look like a hamster now.